Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another late night session covering Invincible Season 2. I'm joined by my guests. They were with me for episode 1, and they've agreed to return to discuss episode 2. I'm joined by Victoria and Oseghale. Hi, guys. How's it going?
Going well, going well. Excuse my head covering today. I'm in between hairstyles. I want the popcorn for dinner buddies to think I'm not fresh. So yeah,
Anyway, we have like only two buddies that listen to us, but yeah.
What do
that's
you
crazy.
mean?
That's crazy. I'm gonna bring you some more though. I'm gonna bring you some more.
thank, thank you. We need them because
Only two baddies.
bodies are the way to blow. If you want to blow in life, you need bodies to fuck with your shit. That's how you blow.
Yeah.
But yeah, nice to have you guys back. Victoria, how are you feeling?
Thank you.
How are
I'm
you?
feeling. What time is it?
What?
I'm feeling very 10:36
Don't,
p.m. ish.
don't look at the time. Don't worry about
You
it.
know,
You're committed to the cause.
I'm feeling very hot girlish
Okay,
always.
good.
It's a
Yeah, even at
lifestyle. It's a vibe.
10:36.
You know, the grind never stops. The hotness never ceases. Let's go.
Okay, I like that.
And how are
I
you
like
feeling? You also, want to make
me.
sure the host is ready.
I'm feeling good. Excited to talk about Invincible.
Hmm
I
hmm
once again, the episode was our boy is going through somehow. Okay, we'll get into that later. Our boy is going through it, but somehow they've added both physical and mental beating to his plates this this season. So yeah, we'll start. We'll go with just a quick recap of our last week episode on Prime and our popcorn for dinner episode. We talked about what happened last week, which was coming back to season 2
hmm
and seeing the possibility of the multiverse and what that opens up for us this season. And also we talked about the emotional and mental torture that Debbie and Mark have been through and how much the show will focus on what they're both going through. And we also spoke about Amber and how she was really hated in season 1.
Allegedly.
No, she was really hated. We didn't even put out a poll, but yeah, I'm sure if we asked her around, Amber was hated in season 1. But yeah, we're ready to. But yeah, we're ready to come back to Invincible and discuss episode 2. So, what did you guys think of the episode in general? Did you feel it was as I already know my own answer. I don't feel it was as action packed as episode 1. But how do you feel like it compares to episode 1? What did you like? What was different to episode 1? What were you happy to see? Or who were you happy to see more of?
I would say this episode wasn't as action packed as episode one, but in terms of quality, it was still really up there, right? Because it's not only about violence all the time. I mean, violence is good. We love violence, but
Violence is
like
good.
we like to delve into the story a little bit more. And I was happy that
hmm
they did that in this episode, right? And the return of Seismic, that
Yeah.
bro, like it's so funny how like everybody's pulling up like stronger, but nobody's pulling up smarter. Like like this guy pulling up talking about he must return everything to the earth. And Mark is just like, bro, so you want to like flatten the whole
Level
planet?
everything.
He's like, nah, just the stuff made of granite. And he's like, yo, bro, like that doesn't even make any sense. Like
Yeah.
what kind of MO is that as a villain? Like I feel you're trying to be environmentally conscious or whatever, but you are dumb as bricks, my guy. Like it doesn't work like that. But it was good to, see Mark actually fight and not collect a colossal ass whooping. I feel like he handled the Magma men. I'm just calling them that. I don't know what the fuck they're called. I feel like
Like
he
Yeah.
magma
handled
nights or something.
exactly. I feel like he handled them pretty well in the beginning of the episode. So it's like okay, yeah, all he had was a nosebleed. By Mark standards, that's almost a full health bar.
That's
A
that's
win
a
is a
flawless
win.
victory.
A win is a win. So I was happy that the episode started like that.
Yeah, the seismic guy really was spitting some bars. He was like, granite stolen from the earth, iron ripped from her loins. I wrote that down. I was like, this guy came to give us
he's,
some
he's
spoken word. I was there
he's
like,
a
you go,
poet.
sir. Yeah, but yeah, the episode was definitely a lot more chill. Not really chill per se, but less action, action, action.
Yeah.
Everyone, I feel like different characters kind of had some aha moments, realized
Yeah.
some things about what they were doing and whatnot. Um, yeah, I was intrigued, and
There was a lot of talking in this episode and like sitting with
mhm,
characters and their thoughts. So we mentioned last week, like, okay, how much are they going to deal with Debbie's emotional states? How much are they going to focus on Mark? And now we're even seeing, like, there's turmoil in Atom Eve's life, which is funny because now that they're focusing on all these characters and their real issues,
mhm.
suddenly Amber is very agreeable. Like, they've changed up her whole vibe. She's now the, like, you know, do what you have to do. She's not bugging Mark anymore. But now there's so many people with real problems. Mark, his head is fucked. Like, am I my dad? Am I not my dad? Some people believe I'm my dad. Some people think I'm not my dad, and I don't even know what I believe at this point. And then Debbie, poor Debbie, man, she is going through it. Atom Eve
Mhm.
is struggling with her family. Her dad and his sexism and his big manism, everything is just killing that guy. And she's trying to help people in the way that she can, but she just can't seem to get it right, which is a terrible shame. So yeah, it feels like this was an episode for us to step back and really see how Nolan or Omni-Man fucked his family. Like, those two people, this episode we really saw that they're not okay, and we're not going to rush into the fighting or the conflict. We're going to be made very aware that these guys are not good and that it might blow up at some point during the season.
Yeah, no, Mark is definitely on the edge but what I did like, when he was in the Shadow Midnight World thing, which is a cool concept, by the way. But when he was in the Shadow Realm and that guy was like, called him Omniman's
Son,
son, and he was like, "Let me talk to you." What did you just say I said, "Let's go, Mark. Let's go.
yo,
This is the energy." Oh,
that
no,
was
that was good.
scary
I
though.
enjoyed that. Yeah, I was it gave a bit of Omni-Man, like, I was like, "Ooh, I'm frightened." But it's the energy he needs to bring because that guy really thought he could just leave him in the shadow thing and ha 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 get out of there, ha ha ha. And he was like, "Oh, you want to play?" Yes, I love that for him. But no, definitely, he's definitely going through it. He's definitely going through it.
Uh, do we, speaking of Mark, right? Do we
Mhm.
trust Cecil? Because Cecil said to Debbie, I'm looking out for him. If it gets too much, I'm going to do this and that. And I'm always like, the look Oseghale is giving me right now is like,
He's
really,
like,
nigga?
please.
do,
No.
do we trust Cecil?
For the fact that Donald is alive and we don't
People say
know.
that's
Ooh,
a
I just
robot.
did the tapping sound. But it's giving like clone, maybe, because he
Yeah,
was like, why was she so surprised? Am I XYZ, XYZ? And yeah, maybe he's a clone because you know how like when the Mueller twins come in, I feel like one of them is always a bit more confused. So
yeah.
Donald was giving, I'm confused. Why is she so surprised to see me? Cecil was like, I don't know, just face your front and go. Donald was like, damn, okay, I'm gonna
You're,
go.
you're paid to do,
So
not think.
yeah, yeah, like literally. So I don't trust
Let,
that Cecil man. Mm-mm.
let me tell you something. Let me tell you the biggest mistake you can ever make in your life is to trust a Fed. If you trust a Fed ever, you're fucked already. Now, let me tell you, first of all, on a regular day, Cecil already tripping. But there are two things he did this episode that were obvious. Like, yeah, this nigga is tweaking. Like, the Donald thing, right? Like, obviously, like, I don't even know what Donald is, whether he's a clone or whether he's something else. But Donald himself is already starting to be suspicious because he's like, yo, bro, when Debbie pulled up, she was looking at me like she has seen a ghost. And this guy's like, hey, don't worry about it, bro. Debbie just crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
to be fair, Debbie is a little bit crazy right
I
now.
can't like that line killed me. I was
He
like,
goes through
don't
it.
worry about her, man. She's
Yeah. Then another thing, I don't know if you guys caught this, and this was actually a very important part of the episode for me. Remember when Mark was in Atlantis and he
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
was fighting the giant sea creature and he
Yeah.
did that shriek that like incapacitated Mark, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but after the fight, after Mark disobeyed Cecil's orders to go back and save the Atlanteans that were getting trampled by that big bitch, this he he calls up the R&D department, right? And he's like, okay, like they should analyze that sound and that he wants results in like a week or something. And I feel like that's going to be a big part that plays into this season. Because why would he want that sound? You know who needs stuff like that? Feds. Feds need stuff like that. He's looking for war anti-mark deterrence.
Yeah.
And we're definitely going to come back to this at some point in this season. I'm telling you all now.
So that flows perfectly into like what I was going to say about this episode. Like there were at least three different points where we saw weaknesses of Mark. So there was the screech and there was Doc seismic at the start. And I don't know, I missed this the first time I watched the episode, but did you guys know there was a post credit scene in
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we saw a totally incapacitated Mark, like tied
Yeah.
up and weak,
Strapped
begging
up.
for help. Yeah, so it's like this episode was clearly show that Mark has some weaknesses, and like Segali said, they will come into play at some point during this season. Is We're still yet to see if those weaknesses would be the same with like Omni-Man, if Omni-Man suffers from the same weaknesses. But
Can I
yeah,
just say though? So at the
but
end post credit scene, there was like a, you know, female Cecil and a female
yeah.
Donald. I was like, so the women, when we run the world, things get done. I was like, go, women in tech, women in STEM, let's go.
Fair enough, actually. Fair. I
Fair
didn't clock
enough.
that. Yeah, the one universe where we've seen them defeated. Yeah, women run that
What can I
universe.
say?
What
Fair
can I
enough.
say?
Fair enough.
What can I say? Nah, Mark Omni Man. I wonder if we're going to see Omni Man at some point this season. Like
You
see
have to
our
know.
Omni Man at least. I don't. I think it will be a season finale. The way this season is going, I think it will be like
Really?
his return will either be at the end of episode 4, which is like the mid season
The mid
finale,
season, yeah.
or at
Okay.
the end of episode 8, which is when they're going to end the season. But the way it's looking, it looks like there will be a big focus on Mark and Earth, and they've barely even gone into Galactical. They've got the Martian guy that's fooling himself. Honestly, I'm not really
Guy.
interested in that right now, very strongly.
When
But
he, I don't even, I was a bit confused. Like, first of all, so he's now like, is this shapeshifter or something, whatever. And then he came, I can't believe, first of all, that the Guardians let this foreign man into their headquarters. Like, are they not scared? Have they not? Anyway, that's another story. He came into there and they were like, tell us about yourself. I'm a human born on Earth. I was like, God, this someone they let into there. Nah, we're in trouble.
Nah.
and they chop
Yeah.
the Zobo like that.
Yeah. No, Guardians of the Globe, the Realm, whatever big
Uh,
trouble.
I mean,
They need to.
I know the Guardians are stupid, but I refuse to believe that they actually think that guy is a human, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, I,
Also, it's even so
I'm,
it's so funny because the only person they've seen with similar powers was a Martian, and they've seen
bro.
some.
So it's like I want to believe that they think they can use him or that they want to get information from him because remember at the beginning of the episodes, those astronauts and some high-ranking US official were talking about like, oh, should they invade Mars, like a preemptive
Mm,
strike
Yeah,
kind of thing. So I feel like that might also come into play because you guys know Cecil, bro. That guy is always on some squirrely shit, bro. There's no other reason for that besides that in my head. And it's also so funny that because I don't know if you guys remember his human counterpart that was actually stuck on Mars, he entered a ship at some point in the episode, and it looks like he's actually coming to Earth, part of that parasitic alien that took over the Martians to actually come and conquer Earth. So that might also be another story that really comes into play at this point. Like there was actually so much that happened in this episode.
yeah.
the what I do find interesting is that like he doesn't seem to have any ill intention towards Earth, but it feels like he has a mission that he's been told to complete. But he's not a very good soldier, so we'll see if he has a change of heart at some point, or if, like Oseghale said, he's used as a pawn in the war between Earth and Mars. I hope it doesn't end up being one of those side plots that feels like a waste of our time during the
Mm.
season.
Yeah, he's giving soft boy, not secret soldier.
Can I just say, like, before we even got into Mark and the Atlanteans and everything, one thing I've been wanting to say, or like has been a shared sentiment is that Stephen Yun is has been a really good voice actor as Mark. Like probably one of the best in the show. Maybe like on par with J. Jonah Jameson, but he's been really good. And there's a line in this episode that like I watched the episode like twice, and I watched that line like 5 times because every time I watched it, it made me laugh because it felt so real. It didn't feel like a voice actor in a booth saying a line. And it's the line where like Cecil was telling him about the customs of Atlanteans, and he's like, "I can't marry a fish."
I got a
He
girl.
said, God, like before Cecil
I
even
wrote that
finished,
down.
before Cecil even finished the sentence, like, "I can't marry a fish." What are you saying? Oh God.
Oh, he's like, I got a
Also,
girl. I got a
like,
girlfriend.
it's like,
I
what are
got
you saying right
loyalty.
now?
Even
Oh
once he
God.
landed in the like ocean, whatever, joined the palace, oceanic palace, whatever,
Yeah.
he was like, Queen, I respect you, I love you, whatever, but I gotta go back
I've
home.
got to go. This can't work.
So this can't
This
work.
can't
This can't
work.
work.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
that's
so
that's that's
funny.
another woman leader in this episode. So that's like three now. So
Let's
pretty good.
go.
This was the female empowerment episode of
I gotta
Invincible.
say though, so they had this, creature that they couldn't control,
Yeah.
that they decided to release to fight. I was just like, if you're gonna release a creature to fight, people you want to be doing deals, whatever, at least be able to subdue it. Like, so if
They
Mark
only released it
decided,
halfway now.
I know, but like, okay, so if Mark decided to just, okay, they tried to kill me, I'm a dip. The whole, that's the whole civilization dead now.
Yeah, no. It's the same
Yeah.
way we have atomic bombs now. If anybody just lights one accidental fire near them, who are gone.
What dusted, bro? Go
We're playing dangerous games.
done.
So yeah, that's their protection, their insurance policy against people like Mark. And also that's another even interesting because that Darkwing's nemesis has an exoskeleton that's supposed to help him even the odds against people like Mark. And we saw that that giant beast was beating Mark, and Mark isn't even unbeatable. This guy is getting decked by like Mauler twins and everything. And like we already said, there's already been 3 incidents of things being used to almost render him powerless.
Hmm.
So my brother, I don't know where it's going to become necessary for him to be seriously beaten up, but yeah, he was. He has never been invincible. This season is not the season he will become invincible.
I'm
In fact, I feel like
screaming.
they're about to show us just how not invincible he is.
However, though, did you notice that the logo? So at the start, like last season, it was just blood splatter, but this
Yeah,
season, it's like
it's
it's like a brick,
cracking
whatever thing, yeah, crumbling. So maybe he's gonna like emerge as actually invincible instead of
at
just
the end of the season.
getting beat the fuck up.
Yeah,
So
he might
maybe that's a
evolve.
clue.
But one thing I find interesting though is that like they're keeping Mark very like focused on Earth. They're keeping the story focused on Earth because they have to.
Hmm.
Because from everything I've heard from people who read the comics, right, and like
Hmm.
just little comments here and there, Viltrumites get stronger as they get older, and they age
Hmm.
slower as they get older. So there's no amount of training that Mark is going to do that's going to help him beat Omni-Man. Like he's just not going to be as strong as Omni-Man. And I wonder because last the conflict of this thing is Earth going to lay down for Viltrumites to come and like control us basically. And if our strongest guy, Invincible, is basically the youngest Viltrumite, then we have next to no. I don't want to hear anything about that fraudulent immortal man. Uh, we'll get to him later. But yeah, we have no hope against the Viltrumites if Mark is our number one asset. Let's put it like that.
Did you say next to no hope? There's no hope.
Yeah,
No, there's no
Because
hope
I
at
think
all.
you guys said that Omni-Man isn't even the strongest Ultraman. Guy,
he's
there's no hope now.
There's no, it's
Like,
hopeless. Let me
let's be
tell you.
realistic.
So I have a theory, and
Hmm.
I think this is the only way that like Mark might be able to beat Omni Man in a fight. He has to cheat. That's all. That's all he can do. So maybe he's going to like phone a friend, you know? Maybe he's going to call up like seven other marks, or he's just going to find a
Fair.
mark that is actually stronger than Omni Mark. Like through like Angstrom, let's say Angstrom has a change of heart and they decide to work together to stop the Viltrumites. So maybe Angstrom is going to be like, okay, like I actually know this universe where there's a mark that's actually stronger than Omni-Man. He might actually pull up and help you type shit. But like, if is our mark or no,
No,
why
there's
we're
no hope.
finished. We're finished. They will read him his
Fair.
last rites for sure.
Fair. Fair. Mark, speak. Okay, now that we've talked about like Angstrom has come up, talked about Mark, and we're coming to like what the final conclusion of the show and even maybe this season is. The whole Angstrom interrogation of Mark at the end, he was trying to find out information on how they defeated him and Omni
Hmm.
Man, right? So that is scary to me because, like we've already said, that means in all the brains inside this guy's head, there's no universe where they have beaten Omni Man and Mark. In all the brains in his head, he had to find one where it's like, okay, I have to interrogate this guy and ask him how they beat him. But there's also a couple interesting things Mark said there, and like Oseghale brought up where maybe he cheats and brings seven of himself to fight against Omni Man because in that interrogation, Mark said they just wore him and Omni Man down, meaning that there's only one of Omni Man, and if he's constantly defending himself, he has, like I said, they have to sleep at some point. They just
Hmm.
need something strong enough to restrain Omni Man and Mark, which they have Mark restrained, and God knows what they've done with Omni Man. That one they probably killed him straight. But yeah, I wonder what Angstrom's final goal is because surely he knows our Mark right now is not some unbeatable force. Like if he wants to take him down, he can take him down. So I don't know what he's asking these serious questions for if it's just to defeat Mark.
Maybe he wants to defeat all the marks and omnimans in all the dimensions.
It's very
Then
possible.
yeah, then he's a very brave. He has a lot of time. Let me say that's
He's fueled by the rage of 1,000 men.
true.
He's ready to
10,000 men.
go.
That's a lot of rich.
Yeah.
He's ready to wipe them off the map of the universe.
Angstrom, man. And jokes aside, Sha, this guy killed a lot of himself. So it's only one person we're even going to be seeing. He's not going to be he's not going to have a multiverse version, which I think is going to be an interesting point of this season because we've seen we've already seen a couple evil marks. We mentioned how scary it was when Mark did that whole thing in the dark dimension. So we're definitely going to see multiversal versions of a lot of our heroes. I believe anyway. We're going to see different marks. We're going to see different Omni Men, different Atom Eves, different Ambers, and maybe different Debbies.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree. Should we talk about our girl? Which of the
Who?
girls?
Which one?
Our girl Eve, because she really
Oh
went
yeah.
through. First of all, can I say once again, women in tech? Because she was really transforming, pine cone into alcohol. This is an innovative woman. And even when they pulled it from the tree, automatically opened a
Open. Yeah.
woman in tech. We love that for her. But I felt bad for her when she like made the playground and then, found out that it was actually a sinkhole. But I was like, girl, you're not a geologist now. As a geologist here, I'm speaking, from experience and knowledge. You have to be
Okay.
surveying the land. You can't just be building on top of anywhere as per savior, you know.
Yeah,
So
I'm glad you brought that up, Vicky, because again, it goes back to what I mentioned in the first episode, right? About the hubris of people with power. Like,
hmm
you feel like you can do everything and anything because you have the power to, but that
yeah.
doesn't mean what you're going to do is going to work or it's going to be right. Like, and that goes back to the whole thing with Eve and her dad, right? She's telling him that I can provide anything, I can do this, I can do that, and he's like, bro, you didn't even know you couldn't build a playground on this place because the ground is unstable. But because you have these powers and you can turn apples to gold or whatever the fuck, you think you can do anything. You think that the rules don't apply to you. And life doesn't work like that. Not that I'm siding with Eve's dad. Like the nigga
Yeah.
is sexist, misogynist, whatever. The
I
fragile
can't believe
ego.
they threw away the food. I was like, yo,
Yeah,
even the golden apple, like,
yeah.
I don't want this bread. What's going on?
But in that particular moment, he was
Yeah.
stupid. I can't lie.
I think it was even more painful that it came from her dad because she was just like,
Yeah,
that's like a double blow. It's like, not only have I like, I don't think anyone died, but people definitely got injured, right? Not
yeah.
only have I like injured people, and I know like the face of the woman and the kid were in the newspaper or whatever, but it's not my dad that's telling me this. Like, nah, that's tough.
Yeah, that shit
She's
hurt it.
she,
Mm-hmm.
she's OP though. Like they really like her powers. She has one. I think I'd actually prefer to have her powers than Invincible or Omni Man's powers.
Yeah, for
She's very
sure.
very OP.
Yeah, her powers
Yeah.
are broken. Like broken as hell. Because she can literally
Which
do anything.
Yeah, like the possibilities are endless. Yeah, that's a good power.
which of the other girls are there? Amber, we already mentioned
There's
Amber.
Amber now.
They
You
switched up her
know,
vibe, but Amber is such a
she's giving sweet
lovable.
girl. Yeah, they flew her to Faux Paris. And I was like,
Almost,
ooh, getting flued out. Yeah.
Invincible is a better man than me. Or when she was like, "Oh my god, you took me to Paris," I'll be like, "Yeah, baby, you know that's how I do."
No, but
Get conversation.
She could
she
say
could see the
nah.
Vegas stoves now.
She could say
But she
nah.
Because
didn't know.
even I, you know,
Oh god.
no, but she would have known now.
Eventually, yeah.
Ain't no
Yeah.
romance like superhero romance.
You
You
understand,
don't need to
you
buy
know?
flight tickets. You don't need visa.
Just go
You just
straight.
pull up.
Zoom.
Just pull up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amber's very supporting now of Mark. Now that
Yeah,
see
because she's in the know.
all she wanted was a bit of
Honesty.
communication. Yeah, honestly.
Communication. It's so simple. Communication and honesty.
And
And
now
then
he's got a
blissful
supportive
love is
girlfriend.
yours. Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, do what you need
Honestly.
to do, baby. You know,
You get it's so easy, guys. Just communicate and be
be
honest.
honest,
Just
communicate,
Yeah.
be
conversate.
honest.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I feel like another thing that was so funny in this episode is how we're literally seeing Mark becoming a corporate slave. This guy just flew his girlfriend to Vegas. Talk about I'm, I'm on call, babe. Nigga, what? There's a whole superhero team, bro. What do you mean you're on
Yeah.
call?
No,
That's
literally
it too.
though. That's so sad. Even
Mark
on the
is
day he
becoming
picked up the call, I was like, ah, after flying me to Paris.
and I don't know if he's doing too much to try and impress Cecil to prove that he's not his father. But like,
Yeah, I
nigga,
think he is.
you can live your life, man.
He just graduated. Like he's about to go to
Yeah.
college. You must be resting
For your
That
mom
guy's
during
to
going
the
to
tell
summer.
you,
bang college like a
for,
madman.
for your
He's,
mom to tell you that you need to chill on work, bro, that's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, come on.
Like, even when his mom was like, "Since when did you start drinking coffee?" And it was like, since when I got my powers." I don't blame him. Sha. That's how it feels to turn 21. Life
Yeah,
just
Mm.
jams you from nowhere.
Like all
crazy
this
stuff.
responsibilities, adulting and shit. It's not cute.
Oh, poor Mark, but yeah, Amber's really sweet now. Shout out to her. Shout out to
Yeah.
communication in
Shout out to
relationships.
our city girl Kate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, yo,
Okay, wait.
I'm glad
I'm
you
City
going to
brought
girl's
speak
that
up
about.
up.
right
Wait,
now.
no, wait, wait. I'm going to speak about this, but before we speak about this, we'll go into like a couple of questions from our listeners, right? So we had a couple of
Okay.
questions sent in last week, so we'll try and discuss them. And one of them will bleed into the whole Kate thing. So
Okay.
first things
City
first,
girls.
right? There's a section dedicated to Immortal. So first things first is Immortal good at his job? Because I don't even know what job this question is referring to. Because to me, there's two jobs. One of them is just being Earth's protector, and I can't
Mhm.
lie. Every time we've seen that guy come up against anything, Omni-Man has had to save him. And anytime he's come up against Omni-Man, Omni-Man has killed him. So his credentials are looking a bit so and so. He
Yeah.
might only have age on his side. That might be the only thing
Mhm.
that's giving him respect.
Years of experience. Experience.
Yes, at getting decked. And then the second job is leading the Guardians of the Globe. So we
Yeah.
haven't seen enough of that. So we don't yet know. But he's also part of the guys that allowed that Martian shapeshifter to just bounce in and start
Yeah.
telling them nonsense. So this guy might be a fraud. He should be on fraud watch.
Literally. And for me, that's even, it's so crazy that he was there because he has literally been killed in this their lab. And they
He
have
should
brought
be
in a
more, yeah.
stranger. Like, you don't, I think that was like one of the most, what is going on right now moments for me in the episode. I'm like, homeboy, they have slaughtered you and your crew in this lab, and you brought in some stranger talking about, tell me about yourself.
I mean, I would say this
They're
though.
desperate.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
one thing. They are desperate. That's one. And two, in terms of immortal, yeah, like he's he's a fraud. Like I don't think there's any way to sugarcoat it right now. But to be fair, the odds he has been facing have been kind of crazy. Also, I'm not even gonna lie. Like his
mm.
only power is really to not die. That's not really a power if you think about it. That just means you're just going to be suffering more than the average person. Like so, like I can't really say he's a fraud because his power is already fraudulent.
Fraudulent.
Like not dying, yeah, you're gonna get years of experience. But if a nigga that can pull up and shoot laser beams from his eyes pulls up on you, there's no
Mhm.
experience that's helping you do shit, bro. Like that's just the simple fact of the matter. Or a nigga that can slice off your head with his hand. I mean, like, bro, what are you gonna do? You can only dodge so much. Yeah, you won't die, but what are you gonna
Yeah.
learn? What are you gonna learn when you come back? Especially let's say, like, bro, if you die for 3 months, there's not gonna be that much technological advancement. That nigga is gonna fuck you up again. So, so it's hard for me to say he's a fraud,
Yeah.
but
Well,
also I can say that he's suffering from tunnel vision right now. Like
Mhm.
that nigga's only focus right now is on Mark, which is
yeah, fair.
which is which is fair enough, but at the same time, it's like, yo, bro, like you have to be aware of your surroundings. Yeah, this nigga Mark is dangerous, fine and good, but you are forgetting that like there are other threats facing Earth every day. I am the leader of the Guardians. You can't just be like, oh shit, I have to watch my back because Mark is here. Nigga, you gotta watch other shit too.
Yeah. He's not focused. Instead of him to be focusing on training them, well, he's there smashing Kate's chicks, the numerous chicks in the
I,
Okay,
bathroom.
I,
okay, so
This
speaking
is
of
an
that,
HR
right?
issue. This is a serious
This,
HR. Actually, I'm upset. It's an
this,
HR. This is a serious HR problem. Yeah. What's he? Why? The leader of the team.
I can't
There's a
like
problem.
that's not caught me off guard, bro. I'm like,
So off guard.
the
I didn't
leader of
even
the
know,
team, the oldest in the team, like
Literally,
he has some explaining to do.
so
bro.
much explaining to do.
Like I'm like, bro, like I cannot believe this nigga is smashing cake. I didn't even think this nigga used to fuck. I thought he was just mad serious. I thought
He
it
was
was just
focused, right?
I thought it was just
Same.
a guy. I'm like, bro, you are clapping chicks in the shower, bro. It's not even in the comfort of your own home, bro. You doing this shit in the
Actually,
office, nigga.
I, I can't like Victoria is right because when you think about it, somewhere that you've died before, isn't there some trauma attached to that place? How can you be relaxed enough to clap cheeks
I
in the
mean
place?
that nigga been dying though.
Okay, so he's used to dying.
Yeah, no,
Nah,
I don't think. I mean, I guess he tried to whip them into shape, kind of. But for the fact that Cecil is still kind of like he sent them against, was it the lizard people? And he was
yeah.
like, "Are you sure they're who was it? Was it Donald?" Someone asked him, "Are you sure they're ready?" Cecil was like, "Guy, if they're not ready, then I don't know. They have to try, figure it out." So no, I think we can say maybe he's in recovery still. Maybe he's still
Recovery
getting his
from what
bearings
though?
from his death.
From his
Oh,
last
okay.
death, I guess.
I thought you were gonna say recovery from like I don't know. Let me not even say what I was gonna say out loud. But
Uh,
yeah. Oh god. But he's also the strongest with the current cast of like the Guardians of the
the
Globe.
Guardians.
So no one can really chat to him. And even Mark, I don't know if Mark can beat him at this very point in time.
No.
Nah.
Even in the first episode one, the other dimension they were in, Immortal was still, landing some serious blows. Omni-man had to come
Yeah.
and show him who was boss, and then, So Mark in this dimension, definitely not. Cannot beat him. Impossible. Yeah.
You know something that's happened since this season started is that I've been scared to. So basically, like one of the questions we got from the viewers, like, do we think that at the end of this season, Mark will be a villain? Like our Mark will be a villain to the people on Earth, or our Mark will be a villain to Cecil and the rest of the Guardians of the Globe. And one thing I've been scared to do is like go and watch the trailers that were out before the season started, because I feel like if I watch it, I might see one or two things that will be like, there'll be a hint here, a hint there, and I'll be able to like suss out the ending.
But you might
What do
see
you
a
guys
different
think?
dimension, Mark. You might not be seeing our Mark. It could be a
Yeah, I
different
know
dimension you're
in the
seeing.
trailer. But basically, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the question. What do you guys think that there is a possibility that with everything they've been hinting, that's it could it could be a thing of like mistaken identity, or like, oh, like
Oh.
something that happened to Spider-Man in No Way Home or something like that, where everyone now
Mm.
sees our Mark as a villain. And I think
Mhm.
that's something that is actually possible as an ending to this season.
For me personally, I think he's gonna crack. He has not been to therapy. He's working like a dog for Cecil. That
Yeah.
man is gonna crack. I think he's gonna become a villain
I,
or
I
villain
hope
adjacent.
I hope
What's
it
the
cracks in the
middle ground?
crying way and not the
The
killing way, I
crying.
beg.
Yeah,
No, I think he's gonna be unhinged.
I don't think Mark is going to become a villain this season anyway, because it's like right now he's just an emotional jumble. Like he's a fucking mess. He doesn't have the mental capacity to become evil right now. Like that nigga will probably just cry. Like like that's how it seems to me. Like obviously he's shown signs of like tripping and cracking and stuff, but
Hmm.
I feel like he's just having that internal battle of really not being his dad, and he has the wherewithal to not just say fuck it, right? Because again, like
Yeah.
the Atlantis example, those guys literally set him up, but he was like, nah, I can't leave them. Like then that defeats the whole purpose of what I'm trying to do. Like I'm trying to be a real hero now. And that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. Like, are you only going to be saving people you fuck with, or are you saving everybody? So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think Cecil will push him to the edge, Sha.
Yeah.
I
for
have a
sure.
feeling Cecil is really gonna
Yeah,
maybe when he's
there is going to be a conflict between him and Cecil this season for
mhm.
sure. And he is
for the
still
fact he's
controllable.
for the fact he's looking into sounds to, hold Mark. I think they're gonna come to is this your zoom in for me?
Don't trust the feds. I'm just saying.
No. But no, what do you think? Do you think he's gonna be
Me?
evil,
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
middle?
I think that is very much being hinted at. I don't know if it's going to be by him cracking, or it's just going to be another load on his mind where he gets tricked into doing something, or there's a
Oh.
worldwide broadcast where it shows Mark doing something, or Cecil has some incriminating footage or audio of him and releases it. I just feel like that's something they will just dump on him, and then he will now fly out to space, and then they will now start indoctrinating him. Like, you see, these Earth guys, they're useless, this and that.
Come
We might be
over to the
cooked.
winning team.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's what I think. At least I think that would be an evil thing to do to Mark. But that guy, it seems to be our punching bag. So might as well keep going. Then last but not least, actually, there's two more. One of them is,
Debbie?
I did not write this question, but it says, "Is Atom Eve just a superhero Karen?" I don't know what this person meant, but like, feel free to discuss amongst yourselves.
Mm, I wouldn't say Eve is a superhero, Karen. I think she's just young, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah,
another thing. These guys are just graduating from high
they're
school.
babies, man.
Their frontal lobes are very much not developed. So like
Hmm.
they are gonna do some dumb shit, even when they're trying to do
Hmm.
good. It just like that example of how making a playground for the kids but not knowing the ground is unstable. Yeah, you're gonna not really think that shit through if you're a kid. So I don't think she's a Karen per se. I think her powers are just so like broken that like she knows she can do anything she wants. And right now she's, because of also rebelling against her parents and stuff, she's just trying to fast track helping everybody she can. But at the end of the day, with that fast tracking, when you have powers that are that dangerous, it runs the risk of skipping those checks and balances that can prevent things like that from happening, right? But I think that happening in this episode is going to help her mellow down a little bit and like think things through a lot more. So we might get like her, getting more balanced with how she uses her powers a lot this season. But no, I don't think she's a Karen. I think again, she's just young and dumb.
Yeah. And she's still also like going through I don't know, I can't remember what the time difference is between last season and this season. A couple of months maybe. But like
Yeah,
she went through some serious shit last season. And I think she's still like recovering. So and she's also young. Like I wouldn't quite I
and
think Karen is quite a harsh,
speaking of Atom Eve,
boxer.
I will encourage speaking of Atom Eve, I will encourage everyone who, like me, missed the Atom Eve prequel to
Mm,
go back and watch it, or to go watch it, because yeah, it's fun. It's not necessary, but like it's fun, and there's some little things here and there, like the Lizard League make a proper appearance there, so it's a fun little thing. Guys, I one thing I do wish though, because watch the we don't have trailers for like the next episode, so we can't really guess and predict what's going to happen in the next episode. But I'm really itching to find out what happens the in episode 3 of this season, because I know they have the nastiest cliffhanger waiting for us in episode 4.
mm-hmm. Hmm. I feel like I think within the Guardians of the Globe, there's gonna be some mayhem. I feel like is his name Rex?
Yeah,
He's really gonna, you know, loosen things up because
that guy is irrelevant, man. To me, it's just comedic relief.
Yeah, yeah, that's what
yeah.
it is for sure.
But I do feel like there'll be some, rumblings in there, which will also affect, I guess, Mark indirectly because he's gonna have to pick up the slack eventually. I feel like Cecil has been sending him on solo missions. Um, because I haven't seen any of the other Guardians when he's doing his own fighting. So I don't know if he's scared to like put them together because of what happened with Omni-Man and the other Guardians. So maybe he's like, let me just keep them separate for now. We can have like, round two of what happened just a few months ago. So yeah, I think Mark will he crack next episode? I don't know. Well,
No,
if they're going to college, I think it'll be interesting to see what the college dynamic will be. I don't know if Amber is still gonna be. I don't know if they'll have time. Like I don't know how they're gonna actually really work because college is a bit more hectic than high school. I don't know if they'll have
for
time for
sure.
each other. It's like leaving me. What do you want to say? What
No,
do you
no,
want to
no. I
say?
agree that college is definitely more hectic than high school, but that's when you actually are a serious student in college, bro. If you want
True.
to just be there, if you want to be in
Divine.
college fucking around, you have that option. You have that option completely. But then again, I feel like Amber is a pretty serious minded person, especially with like all the
Yeah.
political stuff she's trying to get into. So yeah, that
Mhm.
could definitely be a strain on their relationship.
Yeah,
Mark is
and
definitely not going to have time though. Like I know that for sure.
But I
yeah,
say
I
Mark
think
is a
that's gonna
complete
be
slave.
I
Go
think
on,
that's
bro.
gonna be an issue, and I feel like if they break up, because I feel like Amber really helps to ground him in a way. So I feel like, and I mean also stress relief, But I feel like, yeah, I feel like if they break up, if they break up, like that's gonna be another thing that's like on Mark, and it's gonna be, yeah, leading him closer to the cracking
The
point.
edge, yeah,
Yeah, I feel like Omniman needs to just pop up, just a little, hey, how y'all been? I think Debbie definitely gonna. I mean,
yeah,
she's
Debbie
already kind of broken down, and she went through it this
twice.
episode though,
Yeah, she did.
because honestly, it was giving 13th reason from the mailbox alone. And
Yeah,
also, actually, I have to say, when she was doing that her open house thing, and that guy, what did he
yeah.
say? He told, let me even, I feel like I wrote it down because I was so upset. First of all, he stuck his hand out, as in he was like, "Shh," as in, he did that to Debbie, as in she should shut up. I said, wow,
Really?
okay. Yeah, he stuck his hand out. I was like, ah. And then he told his babe, when you earn the money, you can decide where we live. I was like, women, please. You can't be financially dependent on these men. You got to earn your own bag,
He said
OnlyFans
beggars
is there.
beggars
All
can't be
these
choosers,
different
baby.
websites. Please, you
Yeah.
can't actually be dependent.
I'm actually surprised. I can't lie. I thought Debbie was going to slap him or something. Like I really thought she
Same,
was going to hit him.
literally, because she now said that she's not your pet. I know Debbie was triggered that episode actually,
Yeah,
so
she
she's really
was.
going through it. I don't know if that'll put a strain on her relationship with Mark because I feel like seeing Mark reminds her of Omni Man because he's also doing the whole like going on missions, leaving XYZ, coming back beat up. Because when he tried to comfort her at first, when she was crying in the kitchen after the dishes were broken on the floor, this time I knew that woman was in distress. There were glass shards on the floor, and she sank to the floor and cried. Yeah, it's giving tough times. But when he tried to comfort her, she like kind of flinched at first, I think, or she I can't remember exactly what she did, but yeah, I feel like there's also gonna be a strain on their like relationship as mother son, which will also be like sad for Mark because I feel like he needs as much support as he can get from people around him. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how Debbie and Mark, if like anything becomes a bit more rocky in the next episode, I'm interested in seeing. He might be
I
asking, "Why'd
believe
you
I
cry,
believe in
Mama?"
I believe in Debbie's love for Mark. So
Mm,
I don't think there will be a big thing. I think they'll both support
fingers
each other
crossed.
through this
Yeah.
tough time.
Mm,
Through this very
they need
tough
it.
time.
Hmm.
Any final thoughts on episode 2? Any hopes for episode 3? Anything that caught your attention you want to point to?
We didn't mention this earlier, but Mark's
Yeah.
middle name being Sebastian is fucking random, yeah.
It's random.
Random as fuck, yeah.
Oh my god. And
And I
what
think
Amber's one, what was Amber's one?
was it
Justine.
Justine.
Justine?
It
Yeah,
suits her.
Sebastian and Justine. You know, as a bad bitch, you've got Justine Sky, you've got Amber,
Sebastian.
Justine, whatever her last name is. Yeah.
Bennett. Amber Justine Bennett. I can't like,
Let me see.
this is how I know like I've been watching too much of Gen V. When Mark threw his graduation cap up and then it zoomed into the principal's face, I was like, oh, this thing's going to fall and kill this man
And kill
like
him,
on
right?
the
Yeah.
graduation.
That would have been tough.
What's this?
Trying
But
to
yeah,
see.
how's everyone feeling now about the season so far? Good or
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. Here for the ride. Here for my
Yeah,
city
man.
girls. Shout out
I'm
to
actually
Kate.
scared for the next 2 episodes because I hate like cliffhangers, man. Especially when I can see the like they've told me I need to wait this amount of months. I'm really not looking forward to how they're going to end it in episode 4.
When is episode 5 coming out? Do we know?
I don't
Like,
know. I
what's
know
the
it's next year.
months?
Sometime
Okay, it
next
could
year, I don't
be
know.
January is next year. No, that's just a couple of months away.
Definitely not that.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be. I think they'll make us wait some more.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I want to see more fights. What I really like about Invincible, so I like special effects. And you know, like how they like shred people, you see the eyeballs gouged out,
Yeah,
brains and hat is I'm like, yeah, more of this, more of this. So I'm excited to see what new ways they're gonna why are you leaning?
Do we need
to
to call
kill
someone?
people.
No, it's just like, the art of animation is just so amazing, Just
Oh
the
yeah, I
graphics.
also I also want to bring this up. Even though the Atlantean Beast was whooping Mark's ass at first, I'm happy he got his league back. Small wins,
Small wins. Yeah, he
small
finally beat
wins,
someone up.
small wins.
Yeah. Shout out to Mark. He's trying.
Oh, he's trying. We'll get there eventually. God day.
God
He
damn,
actually
yeah.
had a couple of wins this episode, right? The seismic guy, the big beast. He's stepping up in the world. Yeah.
The wise man once said, "You can't just get in better one time. You have to step up, to step up, to step up."
Yes, yes, yes. On that note, I actually think we should end the episode there. That's perfect. You can't just get better one time. You gotta step up, step up, step up. All right, guys. Thank you for coming. Thanks for making time to share your expertise on Invincible with our listeners. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Oseghale. Do you have any parting messages for our listeners?
Give your hearts.
Oh,
What?
okay, okay, okay. We're not even okay. Let's wrap this up and then we'll speak about what Zegale just said. Victoria, any parting messages?
City grows up.
City goes up. Shout out Kate, man. Her spot is secured in the Guardians of the Globe now.
Yeah, City grows up. Stay winning.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'm about to and peace out, man.
Bye.
Later.